Good morning, everyone. Today's topic is India's tryst leadership. There are moments in history when a nation ceases or stops merely to grow and begins to lead. India, it would seem, stands at such a threshold today. On October 13, 2025, at the International Monetary Fund semi annual gathering of finance ministers and central bank governors in Washington, IMF Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva observed that global growth patterns have been changing over the years, notably with China decelerating steadily while India develops into a key growth engine. She went on to praise India's bold economic and structural reforms, the overhaul of tax laws, the rapid adoption of digital payments, and the creation of a digital social identity framework, calling this the architecture of resilience in a slowing global economy. The International Monetary Fund (IMF) now forecasts India's GDP to expand by 6.5% in both 2025 and 2026, making it the world's most dynamic large economy. It was more than a compliment, it was an invocation. For in a century when old orders tremble and new maps are being drawn, India is being asked not just to power the global economy but to imagine it anew. The phrase growth engine itself deserves a pause. It is a term born of industrial metaphor machines, pistons, horsepower. Yet India's story was never merely mechanical. It has been civilizational, moral, and profoundly human. For millennia, this land has not merely produced goods, it has produced ideas about balance, dharma, and the eternal rhythm between material and moral wealth. The irony then is that the world now looks to us for speed when our deeper gift has always been equilibrium. Engines and equilibriums. The world's economy is wary. The post pandemic order, riddled with supply chain fractures, currency tremors, and an epidemic of distrust, resembles a tired orchestra searching for a conductor. China, long the unchallenged soloist, has slowed, its economic music more muted, its political chords more cautious. The Western economies, burdened by inflation and demographic decline, are struggling to keep pace. Into this discord steps India not as a brash new player but as a patient inheritor of both aspiration and responsibility. Our growth 6.5% and rising has drawn predictable applause. Economists speak of demographic dividends, digital revolution, startup ecosystem, and infrastructure booms. The Gati Shakti corridors thread steel across the land. Data highways now pulse with billions of digital payments every day. Our young, restless, connected population seeks opportunity with the urgency of a newly opened window. Yet beyond these numbers lie a subtler story, one of a nation that has spent 75 years rehearsing for this very act. When India won its independence, it inherited the ruins of colonial extraction, a broken economy, a brittle state, and a people long denied agency. Nehru's vision was both romantic and rational, to industrialize without dehumanizing, to modernize without westernizing. The dams of Bhakra and Hirakud were our cathedrals of progress. The Planning Commission, presently it is known as Niti Aayog, our secular scripture. Yet, even as we built, we also hesitated. The protective cocoon of import substitution kept us safe but sluggish. It was, in hindsight, a chrysalis phase, a preparation for the liberalization metamorphosis of 1991. That second tryst with destiny, ushered in by Narasimha Rao and Manmohan Singh, opened India's windows to the world. We moved from scarcity to self belief, from autarky to ambition, but liberalization too came with its paradoxes. The reforms birthed islands of affluence in a sea of poverty. They gave us capital without compassion, progress without parity. And yet, through the uneven journey, India found its pulse in the one sector least expected to flourish, that is, services. Software, not steel, became our new signature. Today, the same fingers are building something larger than code. They are building confidence. India's digital public infrastructure, from Aadhaar to UPI, Unified Payment Interface, has become a model for inclusion. In a world where the digital divide has become the new class divide, India has quietly demonstrated how technology could become a welfare multiplier, not merely a marketplace. That is not just growth, it is governance reimagined. History is offering India its most poetic moment to turn its economic ascent into a moral renaissance. If we can align growth with goodness, efficiency with empathy, and profit with purpose, we may yet redeem the original dream of our civilization that progress must always have a soul. The world may call us a growth engine, but perhaps truth we are something rarer, a reminder that prosperity, when guided by principle, can still be a force for peace. Thank you and have a nice day.